What's up, everyone? Michelle Alexandria here. Today, I am going to give you all the positive reasons why the X-Box Scorpio is going to kick all sorts of ass. And I'm not even going to talk about the specs because I'm tired of the specs. Other than to say it's going to be powerful, who cares? But what I want to talk about is the features and why I think this is going to be the console to beat. And again, before we begin, I have a PS4 Pro, which I really hate the hardware, but I love the games. I love Sony exclusives, which is why I primarily game on a Sony exclusive. I have an Xbox One S, and I haven't really turned it on in 8 months, other than to play some UHD Blu-rays, and it's about to get relegated to my bedroom because I'm getting a new UHD player in the next couple of days, a dedicated one. And I also have the Nintendo Switch, and all I'm doing on that is playing Zelda, which is amazing. But let's start with why I think the Scorpio is the future of gaming. It's because, unlike the PS4 Pro, where Sony touted the fact that it's capable of playing 4K games, but it's all upscale and checkerboard, or sort of native, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of streamed, or something. I'm just not quite sure what it's doing in the realm of 4K. I know Digital Foundry has done their thing and said that some of the games are playing natively in 4K, but it's like 2 or 3 games that are playing that are native 4K. The rest of them are checkerboard, upscaled, or they're not in 4K at all. And that's my problem with the system, is the fact that Sony is being too cute by half with the PS4 Pro. They need to draw a line in the sand and say that any game that comes out for the PS4 Pro has to support the PS4 Pro. And when they say it supports the PS4 Pro, it needs to mean 4K, 30 frames per second, and then everything else is up to the developers. But to be qualified as PS4 Pro, it should be 4K, 30 frames a second. Otherwise, what's the point of the entire exercise? You might as well just have a PS4 Pro or a PS4. And I'm so sick to death of Sony apologists talking about how, oh, the PS4 Pro is all about performance. It's not about 4K. And I only care about performance. Well, guess what? The PS4 Pro doesn't perform much better than the PS4. So if you don't have 4K gaming on it, and the 4K games that are on it are suffering from frame rate drops, performance issues, and everything else, then what the hell are you people talking about when you say you bought a PS4 Pro? I don't understand why someone with a 1080p TV will buy a PS4 Pro when the PS4 does everything a PS4 Pro does. It's just to make you feel good and feel like you're a real gamer when you're not. So just stop already. Please stop. And I'm tired of Sony catering to the lowest common denominator. If they're going to do the PS4 Pro, do the PS4 Pro. So one of the reasons why I love the Scorpio is the fact that Microsoft seems to be drawing a line in the sand and saying, hey, all games for the Scorpio are going to be in 4K. That's what I'm hearing. They're not really confirming it, but that seems to be their marketing message, that if you get a game that's on the Scorpio, it's going to be 4K, and it will probably be at least 30 frames per second, 30 frames per second. And that's what you want in the game. You want performance and you want the graphics. It's not an either or thing. You can have both, and the Scorpio is trying to prove that you can have both. And for you 1080p players, all those games are going to scale down to your 1080p TV. So it's a win-win for everyone. Whereas again, the Sony is going the opposite way, where they're purposely gimping their PS4 Pro so that the Sony PS4 people can actually, feel good about themselves. And I think that was a mistake for the system, leaving it up to the developers to say, okay, well, we're going to have PS4 Pro enhancements, but what does that even mean? I mean, it could mean anything from like a performance boost or 4K capabilities or whatever. The marketing is so screwed up on the PS4 Pro right now. And when I play games on it, besides a few games like Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Zero Dawn or Tomb Raider or some standout games like that has HDR, and Last of Us 2, those games look gorgeous in their checkerboard or whatever they're doing with their 4K. That looks gorgeous. Now, imagine, if you will, the X-Box Scorpio, which is going to play everything in native 4K. That is a game changer. It really is. And it's a game changer if you have a 4K TV. If you don't have a 4K TV, don't waste your time or money buying a Scorpio, because the Scorpio is all about 4K, and that's what I want. I own a 4K TV, I own a UHD player, and I'm ready for the future. I know gaming isn't all about the graphics, as people keep telling me, but those very same people keep yelling about the Nintendo Switch being underpowered and all this other stuff. But when last I checked, Zelda looks amazing on the Nintendo Switch, and it's a fun game on top of that. So you can't have it both ways, people. So you people are whining and complaining about the X-Box Scorpio and talking about how 4K doesn't matter. You can't turn around and rag on a Nintendo Switch for not being a powerful console. I don't understand that logic. So again, for the fact that they're drawing a line in the sand and it's going to be a 4K player, I think that's a great thing. Now, for those talking about the lack of games and lack of exclusives on the Xbox, please, can you people get off of that kick? The X-Box Scorpio is going to have all your third-party games, and not only that, but some developers have already said that the third-party version, that the Scorpio versions of their games will naturally look and play better on the X-Box Scorpio. If that's the case, then every third-party game I'm going to buy is going to be the Scorpio version, and then I'm going to keep my PS4 Pro for my amazing Sony exclusives like God of War, Spider-Man, and all that kind of stuff. And I bet you $1 million that Spider-Man is going to end up being a timed exclusive, because it's a major Disney property, and Disney's all about the money. So I guarantee you next year Spider-Man will be on the X-Box Scorpio, and it will probably look even better. So yeah, I will have my PS4 Pro for all the exclusives, but the Scorpio is going to get Call of Duty. Scorpio is going to get all your Assassin's Creed games. Scorpio is going to get your Batman games and everything else. All your staples are going to be on the Xbox Scorpio, and it's going to be in 4K. It's going to be at a minimum at 30 frames per second, but they're talking about the Scorpio actually producing 60 frames per second games. Honestly, I can't tell the difference between a 30 and a 60 frame per second game. Maybe it's because I've never actually seen the difference or played a 60 frame per second game, but I hear it's amazing because I'm not a PC gamer, so I don't know. But everyone says 60 frames per second, 60 frames per second, 60 frames per second, where the Scorpio is going to be able to deliver that. And it's going to deliver that with glorious 4K. So that's two reasons. What are my reasons so far? 4K, they're going to have the games. Now, UHD playback they're using UHD playback. One reason why having a UHD player in the console is important, which many people, PS4 Pro owners, poo-poo, is the fact that games media, if you're going to play truly in native 4K, I guarantee you the game media will probably be 4K discs. You will have 4K disc-based game media that will play in the 4K drive. And that's going to provide a lot of stability. It means you won't have to download 100 gigabyte files, although you're going to have to install that crap anyway. But you won't have to download it. And I'm telling you, that's one of the main reasons why I want to I wanted the PS4 Pro to have a 4K UHD drive in it because it gave me more confidence that the games would actually be played in native 4K because the media is native 4K. But beyond that, I've been for 20 years. I've been in search of that one perfect entertainment system that I could game on, that I could do all my streaming on, that I could do all my media on. And for the longest time, the PS2 and the PS3 were those systems for me. The PS4 wasn't, for the simple fact that it took them 3 years to come out with a halfway decent remote for this stupid system. And the remote for the PS4 sucked. So I've never actually really used it as a dedicated Blu-ray player like I did with my PS2 and PS3. So the Xbox. If the X-Box Scorpio comes out with a decent remote and it does UHD and it does your 4K streaming and everything else in one box, that's pretty amazing to me. I mean, people just like to whine about stuff. I don't understand why. But to me, that sounds pretty amazing because already it's replacing three things. It's replacing a $300 UHD player. It's replacing $100 streaming box like Roku or the NVIDIA Shield, and it's a game console. Right there, that's $500 worth of stuff all rolled into one, and I love that. And for those who think a game console can't play UHDs, get the F out of here, please. I mean, you're telling me with all the power that's contained within a game console, the UHD player is just going to naturally suck? No, it's not. I mean, UHD players are based on the software stack, the disk drive, the quality of the disk drive, and everything else. And you're telling me the Scorpio won't be able to handle all of that? Won't have all of that stuff built in? Come on, get out of here, you people. Get out of here, you hockey puck. And then the final reason that everyone is sleeping on is the fact that it's going to do 4K dedicated game streaming for YouTube content creators. YouTube content creators should be all about that. I mean, you don't have to pay, you won't have to buy a separate 4K capture card that currently retails for like $350 or $400. I think the cheapest I saw on the Amazon was about $375 for a freaking 4K capture card. You're going to have that built into the Scorpio. You're going to be able to stream 4K, all your gameplay videos in native 4K. Come on, how can you not be excited about that prospect? I mean, I don't do game streaming, but I've been thinking about doing some game streaming and broadcasting some of my feeble gameplay for all the world to see. And to be able to do that in 4K without me having to set up my 4K camera and kind of aiming it at the TV and getting the weird off angle thing. You could get everything in perfect 4K, perfect 1080p, and everything else. So for those reasons, I think the Scorpio is going to be a pretty amazing console. With that said, watch my rant for all my concerns about the system. And again, my main concern is I think the marketing of it's terrible. I think the fact that it's coming out so late in the year is horrible because, we all have things to buy and other things we're going to be looking at, and we don't know anything about the system yet. But all my opinions are based on rumors and things that I've heard the system's going to be able to do. And based on all of that, I think it's going to be well worth $499. I mean, my bet is the price of the system is going to be $499, and it's not going to have a pack-in game, and you're going to have to buy a separate game and all that kind of stuff. So basically, you're going to end up spending about $600 on this beast on day one, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I think for what you get, it's going to be pretty amazing. I'm kind of curious to see what it looks like. Part of me wants to wait because I always feel burned by the slim versions when they come out, and I never actually end up getting a slim because I always get systems on launch day. But maybe I'll hold off and wait for the inevitable slim version. But I gotta say, I love everything about the Scorpio in terms of how it's shaping up, and I think really, I just think that people need to kind of calm down, Stop complaining. And I know that's rich coming from me because I did an 18-minute rant video yesterday on the Scorpio. But I just think that eventually when it all comes together, it's going to be a really nice system. Do I want exclusives for the Xbox? I don't really care. I'm not a super game. I don't claim to be a super gamer, and I already have a huge backlog of stuff I got to play anyway. All I want is a console system that can pretty much do everything in one box, because I'm tired of having an entertainment system where I have 8 or 9 things connected to my TV. And if I could get that down to one box that does pretty much everything I want really well and does it in 4K UHD, I'm down for that. The one thing I would like is for the system to support Dolby Vision, but I seriously doubt it will. But if it does, that would be like way up there for me. So yeah, that's my opinion on the Xbox Scorpio. What do you guys think? I don't want to start any fanboy wars or anything, so if you could talk about this in a calm, rational manner, feel free, because I would kind of like to get your opinions on if you think I'm right in the sense that 4K is a main driver of this thing, and it should be, and are you excited about that? So anyway, if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, do all your, you know what to do. And I'm not going to beg anymore. I don't really care. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye.